So I'm uploading this video on day 29 of this series. And 29 days ago when I was getting ready to start uploading videos again, I didn't know if I was going to be uploading every day. The first video I made of the series was I made an NBA G League. Kind of, sort of. I talked about that story in day one of the video. But 29 days ago, I would say that I was tired, distracted, undisciplined. The day 2 video was why I stopped waiting to be motivated because I didn't have a structure in my life in order to upload videos. But I pressed record anyway. And somehow that decision to start uploading videos again in a new niche for this channel, it's not necessarily personal finance content anymore, that decision started to reshape me. Let me explain. In the beginning, I was hesitant to call this a 30-day challenge. I've started different series, multiple series here on the channel before that I haven't finished. A $10,000 side hustle series, a penny to $1,000 series. I've done multiple series. So in the beginning, I was hesitant to make this a 30-day series sort of announcement on the channel, just because I've had issues in the past with staying consistent and staying committed until the end of it. And getting started in this series, I knew that it wasn't going to be a viral worthy series. I know it wasn't going to be a Brian Trahan type series because I didn't have an objective at the end of it. I knew I didn't want to have one long storyline going all the way to the end of 30 days. So just doing this wasn't at all about the views. What I was doing was I was keeping a promise to myself, and I was training myself in order to be disciplined, in order to follow through and do what I said I was going to do, which was upload a video every day for 30 days, even though this is day 29 of the 30 videos. And throughout the series, I talked a lot about discipline. I talked a lot about how pushing through on the hard days, doing things when I didn't necessarily feel like doing it, because always when I start to upload videos on the channel around week 3 or so, there comes a point, and I think that there comes a point in anyone's journey where you stop seeing the end goal for a moment. You lose sight of the vision, and the work becomes more work than you are willing to do in order to get what you said you wanted. And I knew that was going to happen this time for me. I knew it was going to happen because I've done this multiple times in the past before, where I get spurts of motivation, where I'm really motivated in order to record, in order to make videos, in order to make the best kind of content that I can make. And then once the motivation leaves, I stop seeing the vision of it all. I stopped seeing what I was working towards, and that led me to taking 3 to 4 months off of YouTube on multiple occasions. And what that does for a channel is that it causes all of the momentum that you have built to leave completely. And this time, on this particular 30-day series, I've only actually completed it one time in the past before. But this particular time, I went in knowing that the structure that I had for myself had to be different. And the hard days this time revealed that I actually have a lot more left in my tank than I'm willing to give myself credit for. Because once I actually got up and started pressing record, once I actually started to edit the videos, I realized that I wasn't as tired as I thought I was. It revealed to me, as I've recently learned, that this is a David Goggins rule, that when you think you're done, when you think you're overwhelmed, you have really only used 40% of your tank, meaning that you have 60% of potential left to extract if you push through that first wall. And that was very enlightening to me. I actually really bought into his mantra of can't hurt me recently, because I think that it is very empowering to an extent, that if you can just move past the analytics, if you can just move past what the world says about what your channel is doing, about how your videos are looking, if you can just push through and complete those projects regardless, whether it's working out, whether it's uploading videos, whether it's doing anything in your personal life, if you can just push past that and have that mantra of that what you say can't hurt me, the discipline is built and the potential is there. You just have to do the work to get there. So with this 30-day series, there was a subtle shift that I didn't necessarily expect, right? For when I talked about in other videos, was I had a greater sense of clarity with making these YouTube videos. And once I started organizing my day, actually trying to pack in as much value in my day as I possibly could, not wasting much time, I started to realize where my time was really going and how much time was being wasted with unfulfilled potential in the past. And I know I talked about it in a lot of my recent videos, but waking up early in the morning, working out, and using my working hours at my 9 to 5 that was usually being wasted scrolling on Instagram or scrolling on YouTube. I'm sorry, I don't have an Instagram account, but scrolling on social media, I realized how unproductive those hours had been, and that greater sense of clarity led to a shift in my mindset towards how productive I could be in making YouTube videos. Another subtle shift that I've learned was I started to feel a sense of conviction of where in the past where I needed to be motivated in order to make videos and upload videos here on the channel, I realized that I stopped craving a sense of feeling like making videos in order to make videos. I stopped craving the motivation that I wanted to do it because I made a promise to myself when I wanted to do it that I was going to do this when I felt like it or when I didn't feel like it. And just showing up has made all the difference. For 29 days straight, this is going to be the 29th video, just showing up anyway, regardless of the views, regardless of the emotional aspect that I may have felt like getting up and recording or not, just showing up has instilled in me a different level of discipline than I felt I've had in the past. Whereas in moments where I didn't want to record, I may have just missed that upload, and that may have led to a habit of missed uploads until I don't feel comfortable getting in front of the camera anymore. So I take another week off and a month off, and now 2 months off, and now I'm in the same position as I was before. Whereas because I missed some time when I didn't feel like it, that had a snowball effect, and I then ended up missing months and months of potential earning subscribers growth because I didn't show up when I didn't feel like it. And I also noticed an increase in confidence, and this has nothing to do, if you see any reviews on my recent videos, this has nothing to do from external validation, has nothing to do from praise, from views or likes or comments or anything like that. This newfound sense of confidence comes first in the repetition of getting in the reps of uploading these videos, but also just keeping my word when no one is watching, metaphorically and literally, when no one is watching the videos, just keeping the word to myself that I'm going to continue uploading videos that when I watch back to myself, when I'm editing these videos, I find value in, I find that the message is clear and is beneficial to at least one person, mostly to myself even. And I find that that is more fulfilling than any view count, because I now know that I can control that with myself. I can't control who watches the video, but I can control if I find fulfillment in the message that I am speaking. And if I don't, I just don't speak that message. There are still a lot of other struggles that I know I'm going to have to go through in order to keep this series ongoing for as long as possible, which is going to include filming while sick, filming while busy at work, and more recently so, finding ways to film while taking care of 2 newborn babies, which is going to be a mental obstacle in itself. But I believe that this is a training ground at this point right now, where I am training myself in order to get through those moments of where I feel that I can't do it, or where I feel like that time is better spent elsewhere, where I just get up and show up anyway, because I made a promise to myself that I know that I can do this. But there were some days, especially recently in the last week of the challenge, I'm not even sure if this is a 30-day challenge or a 1-year challenge. I'm going to commit to as long as possible, but during the last 7 days, there were some days that broke me, or almost broke me, I should say. And it mostly happens on the days where right after the weekend, you know, I try not to do anything on Sundays. I try to use the Sundays as a Sabbath where I don't work. I'm actually recording these videos on a Sunday, honestly. But the days after the Sabbath where I don't do any work, it was very hard for me to get up and get the motivation to be productive all over again. It's like the momentum stopped, so my body went into a sort of rest mode, and it was hard for me to get that engine running again. And on those Mondays, those hard Mondays where I scheduled to maybe edit 3 videos or make a couple thumbnails, where it's like, I just can't feel it. I can only do 1 video today, if that. And if I get that 1 video out, I then go on to Tuesday with more videos, with 3 more videos having to edit, because I like to batch edit all my videos, and now I'm overwhelmed, so I only do 1 video there. And it's like, it's a snowball effect where it's like, yeah, now you're behind, and now, you know, you're almost off schedule, you almost missed your upload, and how do you then get back on track without overworking yourself? But in that process, I realized that it's not as hard as I made it out to be. I can still complete my deliverables as far as uploading videos, making my thumbnails, even if I have to spend a little bit less time on it. There's always a way if I search for it. I think that if I was just so close-minded to think that I had to do a certain number of videos in 1 day, or else the whole channel or the whole series was a failure, then I wouldn't have developed the mental fortitude in order to keep uploading as much as I am. And I think that this is setting the stage for something larger, because I've been reviewing my analytics on a weekly basis. They've actually been going down since uploading more videos, which I've never experienced that here on the channel before. But what that has taught me is that just don't look at analytics. If you were going to upload videos and you say you're going to upload a video every day, it shouldn't matter if you're getting 1 view a video or 100,000 views a video, because the external validation is something that's outside of your control. You can control whether you record, edit, and upload a video, but you can't control if that video gets 100,000 views or not. So I decided that I'm going to step away from the analytics and only focus on this microphone and this camera and speaking the message that I find fulfillment in. And that leads me to the power of documenting, not performing. And a lot of the videos I've been making, I really believe has been a journal, a video journal, vlog of my mental awareness as I'm going through these series. A lot of these videos has been talking about my discipline, a couple about my budgeting, and it's less about trying to find a topic that is the most viral, that is the most story worthy, that is the most eye-catchy. When I make a video about discipline, 9 times out of 10, I need to hear a message about discipline just for myself. When I make a video about budgeting, 9 times out of 10, I am budgeting my personal finances that day. So this is a documentation of where I stand at in my life, more than a accumulation of brain rot videos. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm just trying to document what I'm doing to live my life and what I'm doing to stay disciplined in my journey to getting a silver play button, and then beyond that. And throughout this process, it's definitely been a humbling experience. It has stripped away so much ego and allowed me to be humble in the journey, because it's been a struggle. But the key from this section is to say, before this, I realized that I was hiding from my true self by not talking about my faith here on the channel, by not talking about different things that meant a lot to my life, and only talking about money. And throughout this journey, I realized that at this point, I am not the same YouTuber anymore. I made a video that you are as good as your lowest standard. And the new standards that I set for myself is that I am no longer negotiating with the enemy that is the inner me. I am no longer taking that person's advice as far as staying in bed at 3:45 in the morning when I'm tired. I'm no longer negotiating with the person who tells me in my head that I'm too tired to record or that it won't be a good video because I'm not in the mood to record. I'm no longer negotiating with what I feel, for all intents and purposes, is an interior terrorist whose only objective is to keep me in the same spot that I am currently at because it is familiar and because it is comfortable, and doesn't want me to fully take the risk to realize my potential. And when I realized that that inside voice in my head, that voice full of doubt, full of insecurity, full of criticism, does not have my best interest at heart, why would I do anything that that person says? If that voice in my head was a physical person that only told me the things that it does in my head, I would do everything in my will, do everything possible to stay as far away from that person as possible, because all they do is feed negative energy. I don't want to be around a person that wants me to stay in bed instead of get up and work out, that wants me to take a day off instead of do what I said I was going to do. Why would I want someone who is encouraging bad behavior? And that's all that little voice inside my head is doing when I'm tired. So I'm no longer negotiating with that voice, and I'm just doing it because I told myself, I made a promise to myself that I was going to do it whether I felt like it or not. And I know it just feels like I'm uploading videos out of context, but I don't think I'm just making videos. I truly feel that I am building habits that will last beyond the uploads. And one habit that I think that I've been very consistent at keeping throughout all of this is waking up in the morning and working out. Starting the day with a struggle, as David Goggins' sort of mantra states, is one of the best ways to introduce adversity into your life, and one of the best ways that you continue to grow mentally and you become disciplined, because with an easy life where you're never challenged, you never have to grow past beyond a certain point, you're never going to realize your full potential because you don't have the mental fortitude in order to extend yourself beyond your comfortable place. You have to be able to go to a place where you don't know what that risk is going to lead to. You don't know where that road is going to go, and have the mental toughness in order to take that path anyway. So what's next? This is day 29 where I'm uploading this video. I don't want to promise anything dramatic. It's the thing, right? I don't want to say that I'm going to keep this going for the next 1,000 days. I'm going to make a promise to myself internally that I'm going to go for a certain number of days and I'm going to meet that goal, but I'm not going to advertise it on the channel like this is video 30 out of whatever. But I am going to continue uploading every day, just to be realistic. And what I'm chasing here is not momentum. I'm not trying to build momentum. I'm not trying to go viral by posting every day, but I want to build integrity with my audience on the channel, that I'm going to show up every single day at 6 p.m. and build integrity with myself, that I am building in me a system that will work even when I don't feel like it. And what that looks like right now is that at least for the next 90 days, I know I'm going to continue doing this. And what I want to ask you is that, what do you think that your life will look like if you just started and didn't quit for the next 90 days? After being on YouTube for 5 years and uploading over 450 videos now, if this series could change me without having a at-home studio, without having perfect lighting, without having a single viral moment in the last 30 days, then what could happen to you internally, to your discipline levels, if you showed up daily, no matter how you feel? I think that your life would look completely different in 30 days. Your values would change, your habits would change, your body would change, and overall you would change if you just showed up. Even when no one's clapping, when no one's applauding, even when people are leaving, you would change for the better. If you found any value in this video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.